What's up, everybody? Welcome to another video. Today we're gonna take a look at Fernweh. I believe that's how it's pronounced. It's German, so I was looking up how to pronounce it. I hate butchering names, but this came to me from another comment or another viewer who actually asked me to cover their videos, and I didn't know, who this creator was. And it's actually like a family, so they do a lot of amazing travel stuff. I used to be a huge fan of travel videos up until there's a point in time where YouTube was just all travel filmmakers and vloggers, and it felt like the same thing, so I kind of got tired of it. But as I jumped into Fernweh's videos, I really feel like I'm butchering it. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But their videos, it brought new life to traveling videos for me. Then I was like, oh, okay, this is pretty cool. So I watched a couple of their videos. I want to cover this specific one because just the storytelling is amazing. And you guys know what we do here. We cover videos, creator videos, and just kind of break it down from a filmmaking standpoint. So make sure you guys watch their video first that I'm going to cover, just so we can get on the same page, show them some love, and let's get into it. All right, this video is called 96 Hours Living with an Island Tribe hidden in Indonesia. 3 things that I want to make sure you guys pay attention to: shallow depth of field, the use of slow motion, and then the use of sound effects with the slow motion footage. Let's get into it.
You know, sometimes the greatest rewards can be found in the most unlikely of places.
Look at that. The sound effects right here was even just a start. Water? Come on now. There's so much motion going on here. So there's like obviously the finger, the water going through, but also it looks like they've keyframed a little bit of a zoom in.
Turns out she wasn't.
You ready for this?
Just this, all these shots, just look how shallow the depth of field is. And the sound effects. What an intro. Talk about a hook. Talk about a hook on YouTube. Let's just go back real quick. Look how shallow that is, right? And like throughout the whole video, you'll see this.
Turns out she wasn't.
You ready for this?
Even here, right? Look how much of her is out of focus. What I liked about this shot too is he used an audio bite of his wife saying,
well, turns out she wasn't.
You ready for this?
Are you ready for this? Such a good moment to actually just showcase an overview of their adventures or their trip.
Our journey began here, at a ferry terminal in West Sumatra, with a boat that transports...
So they actually use a lot of rack focus too in some of their shots, which is essentially going from a focus point either in the foreground to the background, or a pull focus.
We began the long trek to the Mentawai family that would be hosting us for the next 4 days.
So I also want you to keep in mind, like, this is a family, feels like a family video, but the use of angles where the parents are filming at a lower angle to almost create this feeling that the kids are main characters. You'll see moments where they're filming their kids like traveling or walking, but they're shooting them from the angle of the height of the kids, which actually makes the kids feel like a main character. The selection of low angles, just getting on the level of the main character.
Long trek to the Mentawai family that would be hosting us for the next 4 days.
Seems like things are getting
different.
real.
Yeah. We're doing this.
But this was still the easy part of getting there.
This shot, when I saw it, that's when I started thinking, I'm like, oh, these shots are very leveled, and just the way the composition is. So your eye lines, obviously there's a lot of light here. The foreground is out of focus, but just being that leveled, I think this would feel completely different if he was shooting them from his eye line. And there's just something about being on the kids level or being lower or just capturing shots like this that a lot of people wouldn't really capture,
Watch out.
You just gotta walk fast, otherwise you're gonna get stuck in the mud. Yeah, take my hand.
Oh gosh, I can't get my foot out.
You gotta keep moving fast.
These shots are incredible. It feels like a Netflix doc. This is what it feels like. When I watched it, I was like, am I watching? I had to double check if I was watching YouTube or not. So what I noticed too is that there are moments where there's like kind of like problems that they might face, you know, the boat rocking or the boat, you know, making sure you're balanced, trekking through the mud and doing all that stuff. And in terms of good storytelling, whenever there's a problem, you start to hear the real audio. You start to hear the audio, the live audio, like what's going on, what's the problem, what are they trying to do? That really pushes the story forward, and that just makes everything a little bit more interesting. And then did you hear that? Even that little sound of that it's the subtleties of sound effects.
Here.
Can you share it?
I don't even know how to describe this taste. It's kind of like bread, isn't it, Liv? I hope you got the recipe.
See, like here, even this shot, like look at how just literally just the eye, maybe this part is in focus. Everything else, even here, I at some point I was actually even thinking like, I don't know if they do the blur also in post-production, maybe a little bit to reinforce what they really want you to look at. Because I feel like if you're shooting like this, realistically, it would be at like what, 1.8, 1.4 f-stop. Sound effects here.
And of course, it starts with taking down
Sound
a tree.
effects, more sound effects with the
A
slow-mo.
machete nonetheless. It was almost meditative watching the two of them strip the tree of its bark. It's amazing watching the kids just wanting to connect and play.
Remember jumping off the bridge on the west side.
Can we all just be a little bit more like children?
What a time to be alive. Love took us for a ride that we never dreamed.
So this is the sequence where I felt like I really understood the sound effects, like the slow motion. The use of slow-mo in sound effects really changes the way, I don't know, I kind of perceive things. It's completely different than actually watching footage in regular speed or regular motion. So like listen, just listen to it. Right here. And even that.
One's goal is to relax by a pool, and believe me, there's nothing wrong with that. But the
Beautiful
other
shots
one
right
went
there.
down correct-
When you use objects and like leading lines, like the canoe shot, but also this shot, right? So right here, like, you know, obviously this is in focus, so you're gonna look at it. But also there's like, you know, these things around it that kind of lead your eyes towards that. This also feels like the canoe shot when their son was laying down. Just using the curvature of the canoe and like this of the actual leaf.
The other one, when done correctly, should be challenging and pulling on the very fabric.
So see how
of
like the
reality.
angles, this shot right here is when I noticed I
Pulling on the
really
very
enjoyed the
fabric
shot
of
for a couple of reasons. So
your
look how the choice in shot where they used these to really focus on their daughter, but like the whole idea of, I don't know why I thought of The Lion King. There's a scene where Simba, Timon, and Pumbaa, you know, they're doing their thing and they're walking across like different, they're like growing up essentially and having their adventures. So this is initially what I thought of, that I thought was like, oh, this is cool, like making their kids main characters, because this is essentially their home videos. My home videos was just my parents like randomly recording. These are their home videos, and why not make it pretty grand?
This is for monkey.
For you guys that don't know how it's done, you pick a shot, you're moving in the same direction, and right here, you know, in the first shot, it would have been him continue. I don't know. I'm pointing at the screen like an idiot. Here would have been the continuation of this shot where he's walking this way. So in editing, you essentially would mask this frame out, so there's nothing here, and then you lay this shot on your timeline underneath, so you'd be able to see this shot as he's, what is it, trucking left, like,
This is for monkey.
and then the sound effects of
Poison, just stay.
really emphasizes that transition. And the cool thing about that too, the use of photos. So this was the only part I believe in this video where they used photos in the video. And I don't think people do this enough, where the video overall is, you know, you could tell so many different stories, but using different mediums like photos in there is amazing.
Guru niya sila kasese wala kai guru kai.
Masih ya?
Masih udah baik.
That whole sequence of just talking about we are connected, you show the kids different worlds. I hope you guys learned something from this. If you guys did, please like and subscribe. I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.